Thank you.
Okay. So I'll mute every other person's volume so that we can get the best of this session.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, so I believe you can all hear me. I'll be sharing my screen straight away so that we can save time today. As of yesterday, what we had looked at was how to use PowerPoint to create different slides. You know, we looked at the insert menu, how to bring in images and tables, different shapes, and how to add text. You know, the video I sent, I touched header and footer, the word art. We saw how to add new slide, how to create different layouts. And we also looked at transition, how to create different transition across the slides, how to animate different objects in your slides. And, you know, the slideshow, which was critically the option that we had at the bottom right, where you want to view your slide in full screen. So the slideshow menu actually helps you to do that. So you can either start viewing from the beginning or from your current slide. So if I say from the beginning, it starts from the beginning of my slides. But if I choose to say maybe I'm on the 5th slide and I click on from current slide. So these are just how to manipulate your slideshows. So now what we'll be doing today is how to create an exceptional presentation. And for us to be able to achieve this, you need to be clear about some things. So what are the critical things you need? So for you to be able to build an exceptional website, you actually need images. You know, you can't have good presentation without images. You must understand how to use maybe icons, and you must have your, let's say, content ready. You know, if you want to start designing a PowerPoint slide, you must have your content either in your head, preferably you already have a document. So for today, I have an old proposal that I want to use as to use for my content. Let's say I were to create a company profile for a company called Chilicom, and the company profile has details. So, and the client, all he has is just to send me his proposal, because I can pick up every other information that I wanted. So this serves as like the raw content I want to use for my slides. So I have my content ready. I can always get images from some website like pixabay.com. Here you get free images. So let me just quickly go to Pixabay so you see how it looks like. Pixabay helps you get, because one thing, what makes a presentation or your final work stunning is when you have high resolution pictures. So here they say they have free images and royalty free stock images over 1.7 million. So for instance, if I'm designing if I'm working on a presentation, even when I'm designing a website, for a website, because it's a commercial project, I shy away from using free images. It means that a lot of people would have used them. But it's fine for presentation because, you know, you want to use it for a particular. So if I need, let's say I need a policeman or I need a gun to portray, or I need a phone, I just type the keyword I'm looking for here. Then it returns with different images of phone. So if this one suits my need, this particular one, I just click and download it. If this one suits my need, I just download it. So it only requires me to pay or register when I want to download a very high resolution format. But when you are searching for some images would take you to a website called Shutterstock. Shutterstock is not a free website. It's not a free imaging company, because what they do is to make sure that you get very good and premium images. So if I'm looking for a picture of Lagos, I just type Lagos. So, and if I can't find, it means that Shutterstock does not permit, does not have images for Lagos. But at the moment, you can see they have images of Lagos that I can use, but they're saying these are not free. So, but if the images are free, you definitely just download them. So, Pixabay, there are other websites that you can find high resolution free images. And if you must use premium ones, yes, Shutterstock is another website you can use. So just stick to Pixabay. I use Big Stock. That's another website where you get premium images. And that is where these are the website most organizations, most agency, media agency, even the banks, all the adverts, banners you see on the road. Nobody has the time to start snapping pictures when you can find, good pictures that meet that need. So here, I subscribe to Big Stock. It costs about a certain amount for 50 pictures per month. So I just try to maintain. When I have a very interesting project, I just pay the $50, and I know that I have access to 50 to 100 images for that month. So I know how I manage them. So over time, I have on my system, I have a repository of images that I've been paying for. Sometimes I'll download images for a client and they'll say, it doesn't fit their need, but the picture would be useful for another project. So when I go, so over time, you would have a folder where you have Big Stock, we call them Big Stock images. So I have images across industries, different scenarios that I can choose when I want to work on my presentation. So images is very key. The sharper, clearer, and larger your images are, the better presentation you have for your audience. Back to the PowerPoint. So I've mentioned where you can get images. So for icons, these days we realize that a lot of presentation has to do with icons. So for instance, this particular presentation I was using as a demo, I was just working on this project for a client actually. And the final page, I need to use Instagram icon, Facebook icon, envelope icon, phone icon. You can always find this thing when you Google them, but you probably will not get the best. But their websites for icons are called flat icons. Here you can find a lot of free. So when you look for flat icons, when you go to flaticons.com, flat icon without the S, sorry, my bad. So it's flaticon.com. So flaticon.com caters for images as it were. So I'm trying to use a backup screen grabber. Now, for your content, I already have content which most time clients provide these ones. If it's your idea, obviously your idea will be in your head. So these are other things that you might need to put into consideration before you start creating your exceptional website. So now we want to do a website, a presentation document for Chilicom. Chilicom is a web design company. This is the address, and well, they don't have a logo per se. So we'll just work with this. We'll just work with this font, Chilicom Technologies Limited. Let's assume that's their logo, and that their logo is just the caption. So like I mentioned the last time, there are some things I deliberately skipped since I was sure we are going to have a live session. I always advise that you use a blank presentation so you have full control of your screen and everything that you're doing. Now, why do I have that way? Is because you want to put your logo, your headers, you want to create a framework for your presentation before you begin. So now here, Chilicom, sorry, let me just pick. It will be difficult to I want to work with a logo. So I'm just trying to pick up a simple logo from my system. Okay. Let me just copy this logo. So our company has changed from Chilicom to Abitech because this is the logo I could find for the purpose of this class. So Abitech logo is usually on the top right corner. That's the brand specification. Now, I want to just make my page look attractive. I try to draw. Now, remember yesterday, I said when you want to draw a shape, you go and pick the shape from the shape tool under the insert menu. So I pick the shape, I draw a rectangle at that extreme edge, and double clicking on it gives me the option to give it color and whatever thing I want to work around it. So on the top right, you see here, once you have an object selected, if I click away from this object, those options are deactivated. But once I click on an object, all the possible tools that I can, functions that I can do with that object is highlighted. So shape fill, meaning that the color of the object, I can choose red or use this color picker to pick the red on my logo so that the color of my rectangle will not be far away from the logo. The shape outline, that's the color around the object. If you look closely, you see that there's a line color. There's a line color that, let me zoom out so that you see clearly. There's a line color at the edge. So you can choose to change that color to whatever you like or highlight and take it out. So shape color, I say no outline, meaning I don't want an outline color for that object. So that way, I've created what I will call a left border. So if I come to full screen, my slide looks like this. So I can see that this right border is there and the logo is sitting at the top right, sorry. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is just aesthetics. I don't want my page to just be blank. Then I come to the text, I pick text here, somewhere in the bottom, I type www.abitechsolutions.com. Remember yesterday we did header and footer. So this is what I want to put on my footer. So I can just simply, while the page is selected, I come to header and footer. Then at the footer, I said, okay, I want slide number. I want the number highlighted on the slide. So what text do I want on the footer? I want this website, www.abitechsolutions.com, to be on the footer, and I apply all. You can see my footer has that website there. So if there are other information I think I want to share at the bottom of the page, I can say, okay, phone number is 08023443581, and email address is info@abitechsolutions.com. So I apply all. Now, what that means is the entire slides will have that footer. Now, I am satisfied with this template. I know this is how I want all my page to look like for consistency sake. If you like to create some other kind of effect, maybe at the bottom, that will be your choosing. But in the meantime, I want us to move on from here. So now I can quickly put a large text to say company profile. So profile, increase the size, you know. One thing you also need to know is how to choose font carefully. I always advise that you choose font like this. Meriwether Sand is a font I like a lot when I want to design documents. It's very sleek and it's very nice. But unfortunately, when I send this document to someone else's system to open, if the person does not have that font, it means that the beauty of this my company profile will be lost. So that is why you convert your presentation to PDF, so that whatever font you use will be flattened and it appear consistently everywhere. But for now, we want to continue with this font. So I say company profile. Now highlighting an object and pressing Control D. Control D. Let me go to that's Control plus D. Maybe every shortcut that I talk about, I would type it somewhere so I can send it also as the text. So what that does is it duplicates any object. So I have this highlighted and I press Control D. So I have two of them now. So why I'm doing that is I don't want to worry about changing the font all the time. So I can say the first one is Abitech Solutions Limited, and the second text, I can choose to make it sleek and probably reduce the font so it doesn't compete with the upper font. And for some reason, this looks nice. Now, because I want to look at a tech company, I need an image to beautify that homepage. So because I have a lot of images relating to tech, I can just pick anyone from my system. Like I said yesterday, you can either drag your image into your slide if you are using Windows, or you come here under your insert menu, you see pictures and you browse for the picture you want to use. So either one, you can choose what you like. So now here I would resize this image. Now resizing an image is always advisable to start from one edge. PowerPoint, once you try to resize an image from either the right top or left top, right bottom, what it does is it tries to resize the image proportionally, the height and the width, because that's the only way you can maintain the beauty of a picture. But when you try to resize an image from the left, you can see that the picture looks squashed. The beauty of the picture is lost because you've just flattened the image. But when you decide to move from one edge, that's the bottom right or bottom left, both the height and the width reduces proportionally. But what I want is I just want the picture to sit. I'll bring back the picture. I want the picture to sit in this position, so it doesn't stay away from my company name. So I'll bring in the picture again. Like we said, you either go and drag it from the preferred location, or you use your insert menu and select the picture that you want. So the picture is too large for the space that I want, and if I reduce it, it would not fit. So there's an option here called crop. Now, what do you do with the crop? It helps you to cut out the part of the image that you might not need. So now, I am cropping out a little bit of the top and a little bit of the bottom. I don't want to lose too much information because I need the laptop and the phone to show. So this way, this is the part of the image that I have. Then I can now further reduce it to sit here. I think this looks better. So this way, this will form the cover page for my presentation. So if I come to full screen, it shows clearly Abitech Solutions Limited company profile. Now, I go to my next slide. My next slide should be another blank slide, which is new blank. But what happens is I will now have to start doing my logo borders all over again, which I think is going to be a redundant activity. There's a way that you use PowerPoint, but that's more advanced. So I don't want to give you activities that there are alternatives for, there are simpler alternatives for. So let's just stick to what we'll be doing in this class. If not, there's what we call slide master. These are a much more advanced way of replicating a page. So we'll stick to what we are going to do. But what I want to do now is to click on the thumbnail. That's this first one, saying that, oh, I want to work with it. And once you click on it, you see it will be highlighted. Once it's highlighted, you hold your Control D. Now you've duplicated that slide. You have two of them. So this is the first one and this is the second one. So I just move to the second one and delete what I think I don't need to work with there. And I can just move this up and say, well, table of content. I'm just playing around colors. That's why you have the red and the black forming the text. So that's my own gege trying to mix with the brand. So table of content, I now want to list out what we'll be touching in this document. So I can quickly say I need, let's say I need I'm looking for a shape that won't give us so much again. Let's say I need this diamond shape. You know, I need this diamond shape. Now, I've drawn the shape. I reduce the size. And it looks, I think it looks adequate for what I want to do because I want that to form my bullets. So I change the color as well. And I remove the outline. So one thing about a color, the color you chose last would be on the painter here. So if you want to maintain, choose the color again, you don't have to start looking for it. Just click on the one on the painter. So your most recent color would always show here. So that way you don't have to start searching for the same color over and over again. So now here, I now want to go back to insert because I want to put a text to say, well, the first text I want to say is who we are. That's the first thing I want to discuss. I increase the font a bit. Sorry, I highlight before I increase the font. You know, I make it bold. I try to use my cool font. Well, it's looking too big now. I think this is fine. So I move it close to the object. Let's say I want it indented a bit. I don't want it to compete with the header. So this way, I've entered the first bullet point. I can highlight. When you highlight, you can drag over a certain object, and you have it highlighted. So now I've highlighted the two of them. I want to do the same thing. Control D, meaning I'm duplicating it. I do another Control D. Now, PowerPoint works in a smart format because I have added a particular spacing. For every Control D I do now, the system maintains that spacing. So now I can say, oh, the next thing is who we are, what we do. I want to also talk about how our approach to work. Let's say our approach to work. Then our pricing, our team, our clients, and contact us. So this way, I have created a straightforward, simple table of content that will guide the remaining slides. So just like we did the last time, I always suggest that you play with images a lot because that really helps in making your slides very fine. So for the table of content, I just want to look for an image that might fit in. I drop this image here, I resize it, and I just let it stay. Maybe here is cool. Yeah. I can like to say, well, I don't want the image to just look DOM. So I put another red color here. Remove the line color. So yeah, this looks cool, I guess. You know how it is now. The customer has the final say. You do all your nice work, and finally the customer say, "I don't like this red." So, but in the meantime, I'm the customer, I'm the designer, so I like everything I do. So now we can say we're done with the table of content. We now move to the next page. So what am I doing? I'm just duplicating the previous page. So now on this third slide, I can take out every other thing I don't need. And I know that the subject of this page is who we are. You know, I think we're playing with black and red for the text, you know. And another thing you must learn, one thing that makes your slides or your designs, whether it's a presentation or document, very nice, is when you are consistent. So now who we are, I just want to look for an image that shows people, because that's what who we are really means. So I can say, well, I have a whole lot of pictures that I can play with, because over the years I've been, archiving images, I've been buying, so I can always find something that suits. So let's say I want to use this guy. Yeah, this is nice. So I just move this guy into my presentation. And, like I said, maybe just crop a part of it, leave the picture to sit here. So pictures does a lot of work. And when your pictures are high res, when I mean high res, they're high res, that's huge pictures. Let me give you an example of an image that is not high res. So if I go to Google now, and I say man typing, let's say that's the kind of image I'm looking for. And I see this picture, let's say this picture looks adequate for what I want. I save it on my system, let's say somewhere in my downloads folder. And as it is, that picture is small. So if I move this picture into my design, you see it's small. If I decide to increase the picture, it will be blurred. When I mean blurred, it means that the quality of the picture will drop. So that is why it's always nice to have big picture and you reduce them for the purpose of your slide. They are better than when you have large pictures and they don't fit in for what you want to do. So something came to mind. My who we are page, I want to have something that covers the entire screen, so I can share another nice concept and design with you guys. So let's say I want to use this guy for the who we are page. Who we are. Now I want him to cover the entire screen, because I do this a lot in most of my design. So when I'm in my full screen, what you see is just the guy. You understand? So here I can, the guy is on the logo and the text, because it was the last object I brought in. So when I right click on him, there's what we have that helps you arrange your object. So send to back, bring to front. If I click on send to back, I can say send backward or send to back. Send backward, what send backward does is it sends it one step backward. And when I say send to back, I mean let it be the last object on the screen. So I do send to back. So it goes behind both the text, the logo, and the footer. You understand? But for the purpose of this class, I just needed to go one step backward. So I have this guy above it. So then I can now create a text area. Now, remember yesterday I said when you want to type your text, you either click on the text box and type, or you click on the text box and draw an area where you want the text to sit in. So now I can go back to my the document my client has provided, or the document that informs the content of my page. You just go and get a small write-up about Chilicom. So this time this is Chilicom's content that we are designing for Arbitech. So here I paste, you paste your content here. So here, yeah, because your image is, because you have your text on image, your image might not be showing very clearly. So you need to play with colors. So I change the text to white. Even with the white, it's still not sitting properly. So some of the tricks that we do is to draw a box here. Now the box will serve with a black background, and I can move my text on it. So now this text is going behind. I'm trying to move it, but it's going behind the black background. So I just bring text. The same way we take an object to the back, we bring text to the front. So the text comes to the front. So this way, if the text sits inside a black object like this, it becomes readable. So if I preview this page, so while we're running through our slide, we get to this page, the text is actually readable, and it is not covering our very beautiful guide there. So another thing that I also like to do, this is the black background. You can format an object. That's, I want to format this object. So I right click and I click on format shape. I think we touched format background yesterday when you want to format the entire background of your slide. So now you can have a shape and format it. But all I want to do here is to maintain the solid color, but I want to add a little bit of transparency. Now, what am I doing with this transparency? I'm just trying to also let the beauty of the background image to show. So the solid color covers the background, whereas the transparency, just a little bit of transparency so that the text is readable and you are not hiding the beauty of the background. So I think with this, let's have a look at it again on the full screen. I'm sure this looks a lot nicer. So we move to the next slide. So we're done with who we are. We want to go to our approach to work. I go to duplicate that same slide. Well, I don't need any of this object anymore. This can be done in a simpler way, but this is the most, this is the easiest way for you to get started. Something that won't confuse you. So, so the next is our approach. Our approach to work. So let's just say our approach to work. I just want to do a small infographics showing that when you give us a project, the first thing we do is to sit down with your team. After sitting down with your team, so here we can play with smart art, because our approach to work is more or less like defining processes. So I will say, okay, well, I want to choose a process, and this guy looks like something that fits what I want to do at the moment. So I choose this guy and I insert. Now what this does is it inserts that flow. So I can say our process to work is to gather client information, then maybe the next step is preliminary design. Then let's say the next thing is development proper. Now I've exhausted the three boxes that were provided. There's an arrow here at the middle left corner. Once you click on it, it gives you where you can type more notes. So I just go to the last one, press enter, and it keeps expanding. So gather client information, preliminary design, development, testing, then training. Let's say this is our approach to work without having to say much to your client. This is what you just want to use to explain what that slide does. If you need additional notes, you can take a text box, put here and say notes. Our development cycle takes 3 weeks, depending on, this should be a comma, depending on the complexity of your requests. So with this, it's like adding an additional note to that slide. But this, you're done. But you can still play around this by double clicking on it. What happens is you tend to see different styles you can adopt. I might want it to look like this. I might want it to have some form of inner box. I might want it to just, depending on what you really like. I like to always keep it simple. Designs are usually simple, especially when it comes to the professional field. And you might want to add some color coding so it doesn't just look plain. And this takes care of our second page, which is our approach to work. Oh, sorry. We have what we do before our approach to work. So let's go back to what we do. Now, I'll duplicate this page again. Now, I leave the fifth slide for our approach to work because what we do comes before that. So I go back to the fourth slide and say what we do. Like I said, it's deliberate. We're using two colors for the headers for the purpose of this design. So what we do, let's say we offer 3 services: branding, website design, and let's say content development. So I want to have pretty much small write-ups around these 3 services. So I just quickly pick up a text and say one of the services is brand identity. I resize the image to suit what I want. I want to make it bold. I think this is too big. As much as possible, don't let your content contest with your heading. So brand identity, I move this a little bit to the right, then another one to the right. So here we say brand identity, we say website design. Then we'll finally say brand identity, website design. The last one is content development. So I want to just adjust this a bit. So here I might want to have an image representing each of these objects. So back to our image for brand identity. Let's say I want to use this picture. So I just drag it into my slides, or like I said earlier, you insert. So I resize it and have it here. Yeah, I think this is adequate. I go for a picture that depicts website design. Let's say I have this guy here. Drop this one too. Now, one thing with PowerPoint is while you're moving object, it tries to use a smart grid approach. So you can know when, while I'm resizing, I can tell when I'm in the same, I'm using the same height and width with the previous image, because there are some lines you can see slightly appearing. So I release my mouse when I'm satisfied. So I go for the last one, which is content development. I think that this one fits in for content development more. But this person looks like he's actually writing content. So now an image for web design. I'm sure I'm finding this folder. So this fits in for web design. So don't forget, I'm just dragging the picture into the screen. You can use your insert menu. So now I have these 3 places, these 3 images and title depicting our service. I can quickly write, let's say I want to describe well, the number 1 brand identity company in Nigeria. We have combined experience of 50 years. I saw that yesterday. So let's say this is the content I want for I'm doing that Control D again. I just select the object and Control D. So adjust. So let's just say this slide is just to show us what we do with little bit of a write-up that speaks to that particular that particular um, that particular page. So now we have our introduction, we have our table of content, we have who we are, what we do, our approach. So we have pricing, our team, our clients, and contact us. So I'll just be fast with the pricing page. So I say the next page, I'm doing a what do you call it? Control D again. So we have pricing. So now the pricing, I want us why I'm using this exact table of content is deliberate so that we can touch most of all the tools you probably need. So now here for the pricing, I want to use the table to depict my pricing. I want to use a three column and okay, no, there's a pricing in that document. I know they have their pricing in a funny way somewhere here. Yeah, so this is the pricing. This is the way this particular client depicts his pricing. He says, these are 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 columns, 4 rows. So let's just maintain that structure. So I say 4 columns, 4 rows. So here, I have 4 columns, 4 rows. I adjust my table. So what I think would suit me. And remember yesterday we mentioned adjusting the colors. You know, you must maintain something that will be too far from your brand, but you can never get it wrong when you use black and white, or not necessarily black and white, maybe gray and white, because that works perfectly. White, black can be too sharp sometimes, but let's just maintain. Let's maintain this, then just change the shading. Okay, so the table here says, don't forget, I also mentioned yesterday that Microsoft suits are very compatible. So if I select this table here, meaning I'm highlighting the entire table as it is on Microsoft Word, and I copy, and I come to my PowerPoint, let's just go to a new slide so that you see how that looks like. And I paste, that table would come into my document. I can now start choosing the style for the table depending on what I'm trying to achieve. You know, this is much faster. I can now click on the entire row and say, okay, I want this row to have a black shading and maybe a white text. Yeah. This also solves the problem. I can further arrange each of these elements as I want. So, but these other approaches that we already have a table and want to start bringing in the content. The trick again is because this is Microsoft Suite, I can highlight the content and usually just come here and paste. It goes to sitting in the exact part of the table. So here I can now worry about the font size. So I want to increase the font size for it to be more visible. And I highlight the whole of this. So when you move your mouse to the, let me delete this. When you move your mouse to the left corner of the table, you see an arrow pointing to that column. It means I've selected the whole of this row. If I come here, I've selected the whole of this row. If I come here, I'm selecting the whole of this row. If I come here, I'm selecting the whole of this row. So for the top row, I want it to be center aligned, all the text, or maybe left aligned, depending on what I want to achieve. I prefer the left aligned, but because web design is sitting at the top, this one is on the top, this one is on the top, but this guy, the main feature is somewhere in the middle. Under layout, you can further adjust how your text appear. So I can have all of them sit on the bottom of the page, middle of the page, like middle of the cell. Each of these box, each of the box in a table is a cell. For those that are conversant with Excel, I'm sure you find that easy to understand. So now the pricing, I might just want to increase the size of the pricing because that's where the emphasis should be. And yeah, this looks, at least for the purpose of presentation, your table is clear. So I'm going to the slideshow mode so that you see it in full screen and you are very certain that you captured your prices very well. So that takes care of the pricing page. So after the pricing page, we have our theme. So like I said earlier, I select the last slide, I duplicate, I delete what I don't want from there. I come here and say our theme. Okay, so our team essentially, I guess we want to talk about the members of the team. It's very easy to bring in your images of team members if you already have them, or you just write their name. So most times what I do is to make life easy. If I don't have all team members, I could go online, search for what we call profile picture. Then the keyword profile picture just gives you some thumbnails of that looks like this. So let's say I want to work with this guy. So in case I don't have picture of all my team members at the moment, or I'm not willing to share images of my team members in the document, I can just pick one of these and save on my system. So that way I can move this guy into this page. Yes. So I say this is these are the team members of the company. Okay, we have four team members. Let's say the first one is Ogajide. No, sorry, Ogashio. Then I know I have one Jide somewhere. We have one. And we have one. So let's say these are the team members of the organization. If there are other members, or we have a little footnote that we want to share, or we have other footnotes that we want to share. Sorry. So you can just type additional information here. So that takes care of this page. I'm as much as possible avoiding dummy text. So let's just look for something that looks like a proper write-up. So that once we are done, the page looks very complete. So after our team, we look at our clients. So our clients. So similarly, similar to what we've done before, I'm sure most times when we want to talk, we have clients across diverse industries within the country. Let's just say this is the additional note we want to type for that page. Make it bold. Let me just go and look for a document that I have captions of clients before now, so that we don't have to. The client is the same way. I'm sure your client, you have their logos, you can pick them up on the internet, you know. So let's just pack all these ones here and dump here. So in order not to start picking logos, that will take us a lot of time. I just went to highlight all the logos in a previous document to drop here. So this way, we can say we're done with this page as well. Yeah, looks adequate. As much as possible, do not drag images from the right. It stretches and destroys brand. So if you drag from the bottom right, yes, everything adjusts proportionally. So this way we're done with our client. Then our last page is the contact us page. Our last page is the contact us page. Now the contact us page simply just warehouses the contact information. These days we see a lot of websites and document that tries to show a map of your location. So I can just Google on the map and just pick up any address at Adelabu, 34 Adelabu Street. Okay, so let's say this is a map depicting the area that I want to put on my website, so that people who sees my profile can easily find their way if they get to a certain part of Surulere. Now, there's a tool called Snippy tool. It comes with every system. If you just click on your start menu, you see it's Snippy tool. I learned this from a colleague, Muiwa. It's a very handy tool. So if I want to do a screen grab of this area, I simply just use that Snippy tool. So I can highlight the area and now dump it in the page. So I say new, and I highlight the whole of this area. Yep. And I copy it as it is and just go straight to where I want to use it, whether it is Microsoft PowerPoint, Word, or anything. And I drop this map here. Why I write my address, so I can say without typing address, I say 34 Adelabu Street, Surulere, Lagos, Nigeria. I can put double space and say phone number that 23443581. Another phone number, email address info@abitechsolutions.com, and website is www.abitechsolutions.com. Now, with this, what we have seen is I've been able to capture my phone number addresses. And let's say for the purpose of social media, I say at abitechsolutions.com. Oh, sorry, Abitech Solutions. Don't mind, don't go and visit those websites, they don't exist. I might want to make this part of the document interesting. So we go back to that website I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the training, where I said you need, when you need icons, you go to flat icons. So I'm visiting flat icons website, and I now say, let's say I'm looking for location. The icon name actually is location. I'm sure if you type address, it brings the same object out anyways. So I search for location, and I can see all these images that depict location pointers. So I just choose the one I want, download the PNG version, click on free download. I don't know why you want to pay when you see free. So they have icons that are premium that you have to pay for anyways. So most of all the icons you ever be needing under the free category. So I dump the image here. So I can resize as I want, so it sits here. This just gives the presentation more, give it a more sleek appearance. So I do the same thing, close this, search for phone, because I need an icon for a phone. So I can just pick anyone so we don't waste time. Download 3. So like I said earlier, you can either just drag it into your screen, or you can just drag it into my screen, or from PowerPoint, I go to insert images from device. I go to the folder where I have downloaded the image, and I pick it there. So it's the same thing. It appears on your page, and I move it. While you're moving it, you learn to let your rulers guide you. They just it's called a snap grid. So once you're in alignment with a previous object, it tries to let you know. So that's for phone. We do the same thing for email. I'm sure you get all the envelope icons when you type email. So let's just work with this. I download it again. So I move that into my presentation. We're almost done. I'm sure after this, we'll just look at all the transition and animation that we learned yesterday, and that will be it. So, so that fits in for email. Then for website, there's a popular icon for website. It's like the word and www image. So yeah, like I said, there's an icon for website, which is this icon is popularly associated with website. The shape of the wall. Yep. So we download. Okay. So I move this guy. Yeah. So we don't waste much time. We know that okay, the envelope is big. So you can zoom in actually using the tool at the bottom right. You can say, as I'm zooming in and zooming out. So in case you need to look closely at your object to be sure that they're not too big for their position. So I think this is okay. And then for social media, I can just pick up something on my system. So I want to pick this icon images. So meaning that whether it's Facebook, Twitter, whether it's Facebook, Facebook, I need Facebook, Instagram. Let's just work with the top 3. So like I said, crop tool helps you crop away the part of the images you don't want and the ones that you want. So once you click on the crop tool, it gives you liberty to adjust. Then you click away. All the shape that you want is what is left. So I can just say, well, for Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, follow this channel. So at the moment, in terms of documentation, top at the bottom right here, so it goes to full mode. Hello? Hello, can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, the internet went numb at some point. Okay, so I'll just continue. Sorry, let me mute all of you. Okay. Okay, so hello. Sorry, I just need to be sure. Are you guys seeing my screen?
Oh,
No,
no,
I
not
can't see
at
your
all.
screen. I can't see your screen.
The screen is
It's not coming up at all.
Okay, can you see the screen now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
okay.
What is that?
Okay, so when we're in the full screen mode, which is by clicking the slideshow icon at the top bottom right, you can see that we already have all the page slides already, and you can talk your customers through this. But at the moment, our first option is to save this for print. You know, the document itself needs to be saved. So let's say class work. I'll share this document with everybody after the class work 23rd 04 2020. So if you want to print this document or you want to give it to a client via email, you would save as and convert it to PDF. So you have a PDF version of the document. This one you can now mail. If somebody say, "Oh, Abitech Solution, please, where's we need to see your company profile." So this is what the PDF document would look like. So we have, this is it here, PDF, classwork. So they can go through it, and I'm sure if you explained or touch the areas of their concern, you'll most definitely find your business attractive to deal with. So that's that for PDF. Now, for the purpose of presenting, yesterday we touched slideshows and animation. Slide transitions and animation. So, like I said, you go to your first slide, come to transition, and I say I like to use the fade effect, and I apply this to all. So all the pages have. So before then, I just did a Control Z. Before then, when I choose the fading effect, if you look at the slide one, it's only the slide one that has the star, meaning that this is where the transition is. But when I click apply to all, the star appears on all of them. So that way, if I'm presenting, each slide will have the fade in, fade out effect. So as I'm changing the slide, it fades in this one and fades out the other one, fades in this one and fades out the other one. This is the effect that we have just created. But I want something more interesting while we go through each of the slides. So because if I have to present this to board members, I might want to create some little effect around here. So let's say I group each of these. To group is Control G. Yeah, that's another popular key. It's usually the same across all offices to group objects together. So when you group an object, use Control G for that. If you grouped an object and you want to ungroup them, there's under the home at your top right corner, you have those options there. So, but let's just move on. So I just want to group these two together because I want them to animate together. I group this together. Group this together. So I have all of these object groups together. So when I come to animation, I can now say, well, once you get to this page, I need this guy to fly in, but I want it to fly in from left. So while we're talking through our presentation, you can actually let that happen. But I don't want this page to animate when I click. I want it to animate by itself. Once I get to the page, it should just start animating. So here where we have start, there's an option for on click. So just change that to after previous. What it means is as soon as the previous action is done, this should just take effect. So I do the same thing to all of them. I animate the next object. Sorry, I animate this next object. I use, like I said, I like, it's advisable to be consistent with whatever you're doing. So you fly in again from left, flying again from left. Okay, I forgot to change this to so flying again from left. Flying again from left. Flying again from left. So that way, what I've done is to say if I animate to this page, each of those objects just come in by themselves. Now, we are deliberately doing this for the purpose of presentation. So the next page, maybe I want an animation, maybe I don't. I just leave it. If I just want the text to float in, these are popular animations that I use. And I want it to just float in without me, pressing anything. Now, I'm on my what we do page. I might want to group these guys together because I want them to be one object. So I select them and group them. When I select each object, I hold shift to select another object. Still holding shift, I'm selecting the third object and I group Ctrl G. I click on this one, hold shift, click on the next one, hold shift, click on the third one, and I press Ctrl G to group them as one object. So what do I want to do here? I want a situation where if I come to what we do page, each of these objects should fade in, it fades in, but I'll leave it on click, meaning that it is when I want to talk about it, I click. I fade in again, I leave it on click, I fade this one too in, and I leave it on click. So that way, when I get to this page, it clicks. I have to click through to talk through each of them. Same thing applies to this guy. I can say flying or floating, whichever one. But because they are different objects, I want them to float in one by one. So they float in one by one. And these are depending on my click. So the pricing page, I just want it to appear. Our team members, I just want it to appear because I don't want to spend time talking about each person. The same thing with our logo and the client's logo, and the same thing with the contact us. So now with this, I believe that we've been able to run through step-by-step process of creating a much more professional PowerPoint presentation. So here I can decide to run through each of these slides and talk my customer through it, and I have control over the slide. So I'm in a session and they asked me to present my company. I said, this is Abitech Solutions Company. I'll be running you guys through who we are, what we do, our approach to work, our pricing, our team, our clients, and contact us. So here we can quickly say, Abitech is a complete blah, 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 blah. You talk through what the company does. You move to the next slide and say, okay, these are what we do. One, we're into brand identity. We're the #1 brand identity company in Nigeria. You talk around that one. You move to the next slide and the next point. We also do website design. You move to the next one. All this place, I left them for me to click through. Why? Because I want to have control over each element. Because it's when I'm done talking about brand identity, I want them to see web design. I want them to see the next one. So you now say, oh, this is how we work. First, we start by gathering information from our clients. When we gather information, we now move to preliminary design, we move to development, so you might want to talk through each of these phases one after the other. You now talk about the pricing for basic, this is the price for this is the price for that, this is the price. You now move to our team, you talk about the team members, any other information you want to contact all these, and you now leave it to the point where you ask your clients if they have a question. So at this junction of ours, I'll say I've been able to touch the critical part of how do I put this? The critical part of touching the website. So while I unmute, we might need to, when one person wants to talk, I'll be forced to mute every other person so that we can clearly hear one person at a time. So thank you, everybody, as I unmute. All right. So any questions? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
But finally, go through the question menu, the chat menu. I actually dropped a question there.
Oh, okay. I can't see any question here at the moment.
Okay. Okay. How do you move your footer to the left or right hand side? In case you don't want to
move your
footer? Do you just drag it?
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me, sir? Hello?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
The background.
So I have to mute everybody. The footer, right?
Yes. I'm talking about
the
websites. The website. How do you drag it to right on there?
Okay. So once you're on your page where you have under insert, where you have headers and footer.
Okay.
Okay, I think the footer is by default in the middle. So by the option that by the option that you can have, you know that normally is either you take it out from the footer at the moment, apply to all, then the page itself has you can just drop it on the page, move it to your preferred location. You would have been done with your first page.
Okay.
So that once you're satisfied that it's in the middle with the adequate size and everything, I mean in the right side, you know that moving forward, anything you do is to duplicate that page. So but once you fix it as a header and footer, the option of moving it to the center is not pretty straightforward. For me, I have another approach. There's what we call slide master, but that can be confusing at this stage. So slide master is, I can complete all my design in slide master. My logo, everything, I would have brought it here. Let's say I want the footer to be here, and I'm satisfied with what it is. Once I close my slide master, all the pages across my slide will have, you can't edit this anymore. It's fixed to all the slide. So when you want to do some form of consistent design, you go to, that's what the slide master does actually. It's under view slide master. But this a bit, this will take some further explanation, because you can tend to create your own content design around here. I mean, your layout design around here.
Okay. And again, please, I want you to enlighten us more on how the snapping tool is being used. I mean, to extract the location when you went to snapping tool.
Okay. The snippet tool.
The snipping. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So once you come to your system, just type snippet tool. It just appears like a small box. This is it. So if you say new, it just grays out your entire page. So the area you want to capture, you should highlight it. Once you highlight the whole of this area, it has copied it. Yours is to now maybe copy and go and paste where you want, or you save. You can save. So if I do this here, I can save this one now. So it saves as an image. Let's say I call it IO on my desktop. So I've saved this screen grab that I did, and I can just move it. I can now bring it in, maybe from insert, go to where I saved it.
Okay.
On the desktop, I saved it as IO and bring it in. So it comes into the page. So if you decide to use the snippet tool in a different way, you highlight.
Yes. You want to use it to extract location.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So what I did first was to go on my browser. Try to look at my browser. Okay, I go to my browser. Go to maps.google.com. So if the location I'm interested in 51, it just zooms into where 51 Okota Road is. So here I can now pick up my snippet tool. Click on new. Then the area I want to capture, let's say this is what I want to capture.
Okay.
So I just capture it. So that place is highlighted. I can now copy it. There's a menu called copy here. So once I copy, I can go and paste it anywhere I choose to. So that's that.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
All right. So I'll just unmute the volume again for further questions.
Yes,
I've unmuted the volume for questions.
Can I ask?
Yeah. So that's Benjamin, right?
No, Lawal. Lawal.
Okay, Lawal. Okay, so I'll just unmute. I'll mute everybody and just unmute only you.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello.
I can hear you now. I can hear you.
Nice, a very nice presentation and nice job. But please, on the blank, on the other pages there, is there any way you can have a watermark background?
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah, I do. Say if you want the watermark background.
Yeah. How do we do that?
Okay. Like I mentioned to the last person who asked the question. So let's say we want to use this logo as a watermark for watermark, right? For watermark.
Yes.
Okay. So now here there's a menu called there's an option called slide master. You find it under view. You come to slide master. So under Slide Master, it shows that I'm working with a blank page at the moment, meaning that most of all my slides are blank pages. So I just scroll to the top. I choose the default because anything I do here affects the entire presentation. So I paste my logo here. Yeah, I paste my logo here. I can now maybe increase the size of my logo so that it sits properly. I can also try and format my logo. Maybe just give it some form of transparency. Sorry, the image itself. Just trying to wash out the brightness, something like this, so it doesn't contest with the remaining part of the page. Technically, once you leave your logo here as it is, and you close the Slide Master, it means that all the pages, you can see it. I deliberately added that shadow so that in case we're on a page that doesn't permit, you can see that's what is under each of the, is behind this slide. You can see it behind it. So you can see it behind the table of content as well. So if that was my intention, I would have deliberately done the Slide Master. So it's under View, Slide Master. So whatever changes you make to this object. So now, if I wanted to make it less active, I can as well draw a rectangle on my Slide Master, on my logo, make it white. Then this rectangle, I'll give it a transparency. Now the transparency is so that the logo shows that it's not contesting with my design. So then if I'm satisfied with this, I can now close the Slide Master. So you see it appears everywhere on the page now, but it's not contesting. You can see it is behind here, but it's not contesting with the content because I've created some form of fade off for it. I hope I was able to shoot your answer, sir. Hello? 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 Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello, moderator, I can hear you.
It was Mr. Lawal's speaker then. I was able to answer you. Question, please. It appears there are no other questions, right? Do you have any questions? We'll call this a wrap. One of the things we'll also need to do is, I remember there was a link that was shared the last time for the training. For those that are here that didn't apply, would not be creating any WhatsApp group for the purpose of this training. What we'll do is to get everybody's email, then send materials to people individually. We don't want to start flogging different forums with information. And also we would, what we will not be creating additional group is to avoid creating additional forums to avoid whatever information we have, we can share on the main forum or send to people's email. If we know we want to be sending subsequent materials, we'll send to people who are interested their email addresses. So we don't start creating, because most time when you create forum like that, after like a week, the forum becomes another redundant forum on your phone. So if people who are interested that had applied, will communicate via email with them. So I think that's about it. If there are any other thing, we have 1 more minute, so we know that we wrap this class up at 2:30.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Are we okay for today?
Yes.
Okay, sir. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay.
All right, boss. Thank you very much, Mr. Liu. God bless you.